Going on, everyone? Trust the buzz here if you're new to the channel. I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, we have basketball back. Tonight, the Charlotte Hornets played the Miami Heat in their first preseason game. It actually is still long. Hornets up 9 with like 3:35 left to go. JT Thor hit a 3 like a couple of seconds ago. He's 3 for 4 from 3. And basically, I just want to talk about the eye test. I'm not even going to look at the stats. It's preseason. Stats don't really matter. I'm just going to base things off the eye test. So if I feel like someone didn't have a great game, but the stats say otherwise, I'm sorry. We'll worry about stats and how that combines with the eye test once the season starts. But in preseason, it's all about the eye test, at least to me. So someone could go 1 for 12, and I think they still had a good game. And someone who went 10 for 12 could have, to me, a bad game. I don't know that hasn't happened, but I'm just saying it could happen. The first thing I want to talk about is LaMelo, just because of the fact that I did mention on Twitter that after my first quarter thoughts was that he's still making, he has ugly tendencies. And someone was like, what do you mean by ugly tendencies? Now, I didn't see if this person replied to my comment, but usually when you say bad stuff about LaMelo, people get upset and think you don't like him and whatever. I don't know if that's the case, but off rip, you could tell LaMelo took a very bad shot, like a fading 1 foot off 1 foot 3 to literally start the game. That didn't look good. And then sometimes on defense, he gets lost in rotations. But those are all mental errors. Those have nothing to do with his gameplay. Those have nothing to do with his skill set. It's all mental. I'm not worried about it. It is just that we've seen that happen in previous seasons. And considering that, he's in year 4, those are some of the first things I saw as soon as the game came on. It's like, if I saw it late in the second quarter, it's like, oh, well, this is the first time I'm seeing it. Of course, he can't change it over one summer, but it's improving. It happened in the beginning of the game. So I am I wouldn't say concerned, but I just took note of that. I don't think that's maybe going to impact how he plays during the season, but I don't mind on deep threes. He makes them. It's just that he was like fading off 1 foot. You know what I mean? So it's just like there obviously was a better shot probably to be had there. But I digress. Other than that, I think he played very well. He attacked the basket a lot, and I don't need him to necessarily make those shots. I just need him to look healthy and look comfortable doing it, and he did. So if there's a takeaway from that, it's that he looked very comfortable attacking the basket in his own finesse way. I know some people kind of expect him to kind of burrow in and lay it up. That's never going to be his game. I don't care how healthy he is, but the finesse way is his way, and he looked very good doing that. And I mean, he did look attentive on defense. I'm not, just because he did get lost in rotations a couple of times, it's not like he was just out there not playing defense. He looked engaged on defense. The whole team, to me, looked engaged on defense. I'm really proud of the way this team played tonight. I know it's preseason, but overall, the defense, I think, stepped up. I saw defense from all levels. And speaking of defense, we can go ahead and talk about Mark Williams, Defensive Player of the Year, one day, because he had like 2 blocks. He's just a real rim deterror. Bam didn't feel comfortable going up against him, so Bam would take kind of like those easy 2s in the mid-range because Mark would be dropped so low under the basket, trying to protect the paint. But as we saw the game progress, Mark played that up more and stopped Bam on a couple of those same attempts in the same spot. So it's good to see that someone who was in their second year already, especially in a preseason game, already just adjusting in game to how whoever they're going against is playing, because he's not going to get every center to want to do those kind of fades. Bam is comfortable shooting the 2. That's what Bam does, and he's very good at it. So it's good to see Mark Williams kind of play low at first, kind of get a feel for it, and then literally in the second quarter, I think that's when he started playing up on that, and then he had to find something else to do. So shout out to Mark Williams. When he gets offensive rebound and he goes up, he's going up with power. And the reason I will always say that is just because I remember when in his summer league, when he was a rookie, it didn't look good. He looked very, very timid around the rim. He does not look the same anymore. Like he's going up with force every time. So shout out to Mark Williams. I could tell the growth. Speaking of growth, I'm coming in with these segues, but are they segues? I don't know. But either way. JT Thor, growth. I know. I don't think that JT Thor is going to be this elite 3-point shooter, but tonight he looked elite. He looked pretty good. He looked very comfortable. His shot always looked good. That's why everybody wants to use the shot in 2K. It's a good shot. He has a very good shot. The numbers just were never aligning. He just couldn't quite get the percentages down. But after tonight, after one game, it just looked good. He looked confident in shooting it. So you could tell that he at least been practicing it because he did look timid, going into last year. Even though towards the end of the season, he did look a little better. He looked very, very confident putting the ball up for three. This time, and I think did a wonderful job. As well as his defense, it is, where you want it to be. It's a high level. He's a high level defender. I do expect him to get better. I do expect him to kind of be a little more physical on the defensive end. But right now, he's a very technical, sound defender. But I mean, in time, he'll learn to add pressure. In time, he'll continue to get better technically. But yeah, his defense. I will never mention his defense that much on this channel just because I already value it at such a high level. I think that I can see the potential. I just need a shot to fall. If the shot falls, JT Thor is going to have a very successful career in the NBA. Who else do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Nick Smith Jr. I'm just going around. I have no list. I'm just trying to think about the key things, really. Nick Smith Jr., really, really shifty. He looks way more comfortable now than he did in Summer League, and I like it. And there were some times where he kind of ran offense a little bit. He looked good doing that. He hit the mid-range. He's going in for layup. Nick Smith Jr., he was very active on defense as well. He locked down. I know that sometimes I say active and people get confused. He was just attentive on defense. He did, he made the passing difficult for the Miami Heat at times. I like Nick Smith Jr. I like what he does. And could see in him tonight, I think that he looks very comfortable, and we could see him getting minutes way earlier than expected, especially with the news of James Bouknight having a surgery on his meniscus. So, definitely wish James Bouknight all the, love in the world, and hopefully that he gets a speedy recovery. But as basketball-wise, Nick Smith Jr., this could be his chance, and he looked very good, at least in a preseason game of what I've seen so far. And then Brandon Miller, we can go into that. The only thing I don't like about Brandon Miller's game was that he didn't get to run a lot with the starters or even the key guys. He was running out there with like Frank Ntilikina as his point guard and Nick Smith Jr. Well, Nick Smith Jr. was out there too, but Nick Richards. I want to see him out there with Gordon Hayward. I want to see him go out there with Terry Rozier. There was a time I think he was out there with Terry Rozier, where Terry Rozier was kind of playing the point guard because Frank Ntilikina, which we'll get into that, wasn't playing well. So Terry kind of was back in the backup point guard role. But Brandon Miller, he had a good game as far as like what I saw from him. I think he played well on defense. He did playmaking, and he always kept his eyes up, on the floor. I think, always looking for the pass, always trying to read the defense. I think that's very good. We've heard a lot about that from Steve Clifford in camp. And then he was rebounding well. I know that's something that's like not really talked about, but specifically for Brandon Miller, I think he's a really good rebounder. He was showing that. So shouts out to Brandon Miller. Just definitely want to see him run with the better players on the team, because we noticed really fast that this bench right now, at least, is not good enough to either hold a lead or prevent a lead from expanding. It's hard for me to say that because like a bench unit is a bench unit. It's a bench unit for a reason. They're not going to be the guys to be able to compete with a lot of starters. But in this one instance of playing the Miami Heat in a preseason game on a Tuesday night, I don't see a combination of how the bench could have more. We can have more than 2, maybe 3 bench players in at a time. A lot of that has to do with the guard position. I think Nick Richards looks fine. JT Thor looks fine. Brandon Miller looks fine. Gordon Hayward looked pretty good, and considering he'll probably be the one to go to the bench when Miles Bridges come back. They look fine in their own right, but that point guard position is struggling. Now, Edmund Sumner came in, and he looked better than Frank Ntilikina, but that's not saying much. Frank Ntilikina was just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. So he was just jacking up shots, not really doing anything on defense. Barely staying in front of his man. It was not what I expected. If anything, I expected some really good defense, and then we'll worry about the offense later. But this dude is just shooting, chucking up threes off a pick and roll, and it's not even like a corner three. No, it's no catch and shoot. He's pulling up, and it just didn't look good. So, it is one preseason game, but I do hope that this shows the front office like, hey, if you're looking to do something, Cody Martin out, James Bouknight out, Do you really want to rely on a rookie Nick Smith Jr. to come in and back up point guard? He looked good today, but who knows? It's a very, very long season. We're just getting started. Do you really want that? Probably not. So maybe something should happen. And I'm only really saying that because Cody Martin's out. Cody Martin was kind of that guy that could probably fill that gap because he's a decent enough playmaker. He plays, pretty good defense. He could have held that down, but he's injured and there's no timetable on it. They really don't even like talking about it. And then you got a rookie. Teo Maledon might be able to, but he's still on a two-way, so maybe you sign him. I don't know. But right now, it just does not look good as far as your backup point guard position. If you're going with someone early on, we're maybe leading towards Edmund Sumner. But like I said, it's not by much. But I will say he didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't take advantage of how bad Frank Ntilikina played. But one game in on a road, it is what it is. Did I mention everybody? Like I said, I'm not trying to mention everybody. I'm trying to mention all the points. Oh, another point I have is PJ Washington started off rough. He still looks kind of iffy, and I don't know what was going on. Maybe when he was not, they were trying to figure out the contract situation. Was he practicing or, training? I don't know, but he did look a little rusty. Not really too concerned about it, but it is something to mention just because, I don't know how long it could take. It could just be that the first game is on the road. So, you go from training camp and then you're going straight to Miami. Maybe he'll look better once they get back in Charlotte and then go from there. Who knows? I just wanted to mention that. Nick Richards, he looked a little sporadic early. I really can't put my finger on it. He was kind of all over the place. But as the game went on, it kind of settled. About all over the place, I just mean like, I don't know. He was almost playing Kai Jones, not like he was trying to be a point guard, but it was more so he was just everywhere all at once, but it wasn't. It seemed like there was just no thought to it. It just seemed like he was running around. But after halftime, he got settled and he looked so much better. I think he may be nerves. I don't know. But he just looked a little erratic. But he definitely settled down at halftime and it looked so much better. Him on defensive pick and roll, him switching, all that good stuff. Rebounding, of course, which he was doing that well in the first half anyway. But overall, I think there's a lot of positives to it. If anything, the biggest negative would just be the rotations. I think the rotations need to be looked at. Steve Clifford did say, this is looked at as a practice, and I commend him for that. That's good. That's what we should do. I think the Hornets are winning. As I'm recording this video, they lost the lead somehow. I wasn't looking, but whatever. It's 110 to 106 with 16 seconds left. So not good. The rotations are just not good. The rotations are just, as of right now, not good. It's going to take some time to kind of figure out. You do have so many versatile weapons. You need to find out how you're going to use them. So with all these versatile players, you got to kind of figure that out. But overall, I like how the way the team looked. Maybe I need to go back and watch what happened because they were just up 8 when I started the video. So maybe I need to go back and see what happened. But thank you so much for watching. We're going to be doing this for every preseason game. I don't like doing game reviews, but we're going to do it for every preseason game and probably for a lot of the beginning games of the season, along with other content as well. But thank you so much for watching. And let me know what you think about the first preseason game. It looks like it may end up in a loss. But I really want to go back and see what happened. But it looks like it may end up in a loss. I mean, it is what it is. It is preseason. But in the beginning, everybody looked really good. And I'm glad that as a team, we came together defensively. We went down a little bit and kind of looked for a spurt like the old Hornets. And by old, I mean like last year, which was not good. But they bounced back, which already shows me that, this team's in a different place. So I think that was good. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.